Hello everyone, my name is Amareshwar Reddy and I am from CSC Department, Section A, and my topic is about working with C++. Introduction to C++. C++ is a programming language that helps you to tell a computer what to do. It's very fast and powerful, so it's often used to make software, games, and operating systems. You can write programs in different styles with it. Procedural programming. You give the computer step-by-step instructions. Object-oriented programming. You organize code into objects that can represent real-world things and their behaviors. C++ was created in the early 1980s by Bjarne Stroustrup at Bell Labs to improve an older language called C, giving it extra features to make bigger and more complex programs easier to manage. Setting up the environment. To start coding in C++, you need a compiler which turns your code into a program. Popular compilers are GCC, Clang, or MSVC. You can also use a IDE, integrated development environment like Visual Studio, Code Blocks, or CLearn, which makes writing, compiling, and debugging C++ easier. Finally, make sure your compiler and IDE are set up correctly so your programs can run without errors. Basic syntax and structure. Here are some structures which I am going to tell. Hashtag include directive. This is like telling C++ to bring in extra tools or libraries so your program can use them. Example, hashtag include IOStream lets you use cout to print messages. Main function. Every C++ program starts running from this function. Think of it as the entry point of the program. Statements end with a semicolon. Each instruction you give C++ should end with semicolon so it knows where the instruction stops. Code blocks with curly braces. Group multiple instructions together like the body of a function or a loop. Comments. Notes in your code that C++ ignores. / for single line comments. / / for multi-line comments. A tiny example for this is hashtag include IOStream / include library for input / output int main function open bracket curly open bracket std cout hello world semicolon / print message return 0 semicolon / end program and close the curly bracket. Data types and variables. In C++, you have basic types of data. You can use int, whole numbers like 5 or -10, double decimal numbers like 3.14, char a single letter or symbol like a, bool true or false. Operators and expressions. Operators are symbols that tell the computer what to do with data. Arithmetic, plus, minus, multiplication, divided by, and modular division for math operations. Relational operators, double equal to, exclamatory equal to, less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to compare values. Logical operators, and exclamatory for true or false logic. Bitwise operators, and square, and greater than, double, lesser than, work on individual bits of numbers. Expressions are combinations of variables, values, and operators that the computer calculates to get a result. Operator precedence is the rule that decides which part of this expression is calculated first. Example, in 5 plus 3 into 2, multiplication happens first, so result equal to 5 plus 6 equal to 11. Associativity decides the order when operators have the same precedence. Example, a minus b minus c is calculated left to right. A minus b minus c because minus is left associative. In short, operators do the action, expressions combine them, and precedence plus associativity decide the order of calculation. Control flow statements. Conditional statements. They let the program decide what to do based on a condition. If if do something only if a condition is true, else do something if the condition is false. Switch, pick one option from any possibilities. Loops, they let the program repeat actions multiple times. For, repeat a fixed number of times. While, repeat as long as a condition is true. Do while, repeat at least once, then continue if the condition is true. Break and continue, they change how loops behave. Break, stop the loops completely. Continue, skip the rest of this round and go to the next round of the loop. Functions and modular programming. Functions in C++. A function is like a small machine in your code. You give it some input, it does a task, and then it can return an output. Using functions makes your code easier to read, understand, and use. Function overloading. You can have multiple functions with the same name as long as their parameters are different. The computer decides which function to use based on the arguments you give. Function parameters. Pass by value. The function gets a copy of the data. Changes inside the function do not affect the original data. Pass by reference. The function gets a direct link to the original data. Change inside the function affect the original. Pass by pointer. The function gets the memo direct link to the original data. Changes inside the function affect the original. Object oriented programming, OOP. OOP principles in C++. Encapsulation, keeping the data, speed, color and functions drive together inside the class and controlling access like public, private or protected. Inheritance, a way to create a new class from an existing class. For example, sports car can inherit from car and add more features. Polymorphism, allows one function or object to behave differently in different contexts. For example, drive might work differently for car and sports car. Access specifiers, public, everyone can access. Private, only the class itself can access. Protected, accessible in the class and it is derived classes. Managing memory. In C++, sometimes we don't know in advance how much memory we need. That's when dynamic memory allocation comes in. New, asks the computer for memory to store something, like creating a box to keep your stuff. Delete, gives that memory back when you're done, throws the box away. If we forget to use delete, the memory stays occupied even though we don't need it anymore. This is called a memory leak. If we use memory after deleting it, it becomes a dangling pointer which can cause crashes. To make life easier and safer, C++ offers small pointers. std unique underscore ptr owns the memory alone, automatically deletes it when it goes out of scope. std shared underscore ptr, multiple pointers can share the same memory. It deletes the memory only when the last pointer is gone. In short, smart pointers help manage memory automatically and reduce errors. Standard Template Library, STL. The STL, Standard Template Library in C++, gives you ready-made tools to store and manage data like vectors, dynamic arrays, lists, maps, key value pairs and queues. It also provides built-in algorithms to do tasks like sorting, searching and changing data easily. Using STL saves time and makes your code faster and cleaner because you don't have to write everything from scratch. Exception handling. Try block. This is where you put the code that might cause a problem, like dividing by 0 or opening a missing file. Throw statement. When something goes wrong, you throw an error. Think of it like raising a flag that says, oops, something bad happened. Catch block. This catches the error thrown and lets the program handle it without crashing. You can print a message or take corrective action. File input and output. C++ lets you know work with files using streams. If stream for reading from files, off stream for writing to files, F stream for both reading and writing. How it opens in simple steps. Open a file, read or write data, check for errors like not found, close the file when done. This way, data can be saved permanently on the computer or retrieved later for use. Best practices and coding standards. Keep code neat. Use the same spacing indentation everywhere so the code is easy to read. Use clear names, gives variables and functions meaningful names that show what they do. Add comments. Write short notes in the code to explain what it does. Test often. Check your code regularly to find and fix mistakes, keeping it reliable. Advanced topics in C++. The advanced topics are templates. Let you write functions and classes that work with any data type, so you don't have to rewrite code from each type. Move semantics and R value references. Help make your programs faster by avoiding extra copying of data. Multi-threading C++11 plus lets your computer run multiple tasks at the same time, improving performance on modern computers. Finally, the conclusion and resources are: C++ is a powerful programming language that can be used to build many types of software. To get really good at it, you need to keep learning and practicing. Helpful resources include official guides, online tutorials, discussion forums, and books. Thank you for listening my presentation.